Hello and welcome to SolarQuotes Vodcast, episode 27.
Yeah, wow, we're fun up to my age.
Yeah, right.
I'm a citizen of Mars, thank you.
Oh, very clever. How are you, Ronald?
Oh, I'm very good, thank you. Had a couple of days off, feeling good. I've stopped on the Zen Buddhism.
Why is that?
Because I found out it actually takes effort and discipline.
That's not good.
Yeah, exactly, my thoughts.
Okay, moving on. Investing in solar only versus solar and batteries. Compare the pair. So this is a video I put up, which just does a really simple maths comparing the payback of a solar panel and the payback of a battery, in this case the Tesla Powerwall 2. And we chose the Tesla Powerwall 2 because it is the cheapest per kilowatt hour of any battery that has an included battery inverter. I've got one of these. It saves me about $1 a day, so that's real world data, and it
Exaggerating.
saves me about less than $1 a day because I don't use the whole thing every night, and most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't fill it all every day because I can't in winter with 6 kilowatts.
6 kilowatts of solar.
And even when I do fill it, I don't drain it every night.
Yeah, because you don't need to. So you're only going to get the best use out of the battery if you have big solar system and high electricity consumption.
Yeah.
Which case you should probably be looking at insulation and energy saving methods.
So as we've said before, an unsubsidized battery, and even usually a subsidized battery, not even close to paying for themselves. The comments were interesting.
Oh, on this?
On this post.
Yep.
So we had one gentleman who said that we were talking tosh because he cycles his, I think it was a Powerwall 2, but his battery 2.4 times a day.
That's amazing. How does he do it?
Don't know if it's impossible, but it's almost impossible.
Well, I think it's impossible to do if you're doing it correctly. If you're doing things very strangely, maybe you could do it 2.4 times a day.
Yeah. So
maybe it's a very small battery.
So we get this occasionally. So we say, look, absolute best case, if you drain your battery once every night, then your savings are this. And inevitably, people come up to us and go, you're assuming you're only draining it once every 24 hours. We can do it, like this chap says, 2 point something times. I think Sonnen said 3 times to us at some point.
Maybe.
So my response always to that is, that's amazing.
Yep.
Please, can you show me the data that shows you how you do that? Because I can't work out how that could happen. And every single time, we never get any data.
Yes, or we've been sent, one day, a guy managed to cycle it more than twice in one day, and that is not an average.
Yeah, it's got to be average over a year for the savings to materialise. So that was interesting. Another really interesting one was we had at least 2 pensioners in the comments that claimed that they got a substantial increase in their pension by buying a battery. Now, I don't understand how this works. I'm not a pensioner.
My parents are pensioners. I think what they may be getting at is if your assets are high enough to reduce your pension and you buy something useful that saves you money in the future, like a solar system, or in this case, maybe a battery, it will lower your assets and then you'll get a higher pension.
Okay.
But some of the figures they were throwing around, I do not understand how that works.
Yeah, a chap called Colin claimed he was getting an extra $114 a month pension after he bought his battery.
Maybe he has a better pension than my parents do, because they couldn't get that.
Maybe he paid an awful lot for that battery.
Yeah.
The other thing that commenters said was, but there are VPPs coming that will substantially add to your returns.
Yeah, I think virtual power plants have a lot of potential, and it's even possible that normal households will receive some of the benefit.
And the sensible time to buy a battery is when those mythical VPPs are available.
Yes.
Not on the promise of them being available.
Yeah, not before. You wait till they're available, then you select a battery which will help you take advantage of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other commenters said that this was for an unsubsidized battery and you can get subsidies for batteries in South Australia and ACT.
Yep.
We seem to be struggling to sell them in South Australia even with a $6,000 rebate. AGL came out this week and said, we'll give you an extra $1,000 if you buy a battery and you sign up to our VPP. So that's $7,000 off. I got a letter literally this morning, which was a bit spooky, saying to the solar owner, didn't use my name, from a company called Sunbank Solar that was offering me an extra $500 off, allegedly, a Powerwall 2. I don't know how they got my address. I think they either have a computer or a person on Google Maps
Yep.
looking for solar panels and then reverse geocoding
Yes.
the lat long.
Or they may not care if they send it to people without solar. Huh? I don't have solar.
Yeah, 1 in 5 chance in South Australia. So yeah, there's lots of discounts going around. People appear to be struggling to sell them, even with a $6,000
that's
rebate.
They don't pay for themselves if you have a normal home, and so there's no point getting one at the moment. In the future, hopefully yes, but now, nah.
There is a way actually to get a battery in South Australia for about $400 a kilowatt hour.
Ooh.
Which is pretty close to paying for itself.
Yes.
So what you can do is, only works if you're buying solar and a battery together.
Yep.
And you're buying a Solar Edge system. And you get the Solar Edge hybrid inverter and the what's called the smart meter, the watt node for the Solar Edge, which is the consumption meter for the Solar Edge. If you're going to get all that anyway, and then you add a LG Chem 9.8 kilowatt hours battery. Okay, well let's call it a 10.
Check that.
Let's call it a 10 because it makes the maths easy. And you can get that 10 kilowatt hour battery in South Australia for $5,000 after the South Australian rebate.
Okay.
And then, if you join up for AGLVPP, I'm stretching it here, you get another $1,000 off.
Yes.
Because they approved the LG battery. So you're actually paying $4,000 after all your subsidies and everything for a 10 kilowatt hours of battery. So
that's a bit of a stretch. If all your ducks are lined up inside of Dynamos, then maybe you can pull it off. Maybe, yeah.
So in South Australia, if you're buying it all together, you can get it for around $400 a kilowatt hour, which
is a good price.
That's a pretty good price.
You still have to check that it pays.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other really interesting thing about if you buy the Solar Edge hybrid inverter is it does AC coupling and DC coupling at the same time. So you can, in South Australia, you're generally limited on single phase to a 5 kilowatt inverter.
Yep.
So you have 6.6 kilowatts of panels, AC coupled to the battery.
Yep.
But then on top of that, you can add 5 kilowatts of panels which are DC coupled to the battery.
Oh, okay.
You're allowed to. And the really interesting thing is, because the rebate pays most of the cost of the panels, and is totally legitimate, I was quoted about $1,500 for adding 5 kilowatts of DC coupled panels to the LG battery.
Right.
30 cents a watt.
That's excellent.
So I haven't done the maths on it, but that would be interesting. So those panels could only be used to charge the battery.
Yes, but then that battery can be used for whatever's.
Yes.
At night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting. The economics of that would be really interesting because you're adding the panels. You're installing it anyway.
Yep.
You're adding the panels. You're paying a tiny amount per watt for the extra panels. That could work. We'll have to sit down and work that out.
Okay, looking good.
I think we've gone banged on enough about that. Oh, one more thing.
One more thing.
There's a really interesting electricity company that charges you the wholesale price of electricity in real time. And they are doing an experiment or a trial with a company called Switched In that make battery controllers. And they need 10 volunteers who have a battery. You have to sign up to Amber Electric. And what they are experimenting doing is controlling your battery to take advantage of wholesale electricity prices.
Yes.
So the problem with being exposed to wholesale electricity prices is it can go up to like $14 a kilowatt hour. Obviously, you try and not use anything from the grid when it's that high. And then when it goes negative...
Yes, Amber protects you against those high prices.
That's true.
Go on.
And when the electricity price goes negative, you can actually get paid for charging your battery from the grid.
Yep.
So again, I haven't worked out whether it's worth it or not, but if you want to, I think that'd be really interesting.
It's clearly the way it goes, way of the future.
If you've got a battery and you want to give it a go at no upfront cost, there are obviously risks involved. You might lose money, you might not, I don't know. Email info@amberelectric.com.au and you might be able to do that.
Yeah. Obviously, as electric cars take off, that's what you'll want to do. Charge them when it's cheap. So we have negative electricity prices at times. You can even be paid to fill your battery.
That's pretty
occasionally.
Cool. Yep.
At 2 years' time, we'll switch to 5-minute payments. That'll really help the economics of batteries. It's not 2 years in the future yet, though. So.
But those negative prices, you would think, would become more and more common.
Yeah, they'll become less common as people get
more batteries. Yeah, well, there is that.
Yeah.
Good point, well presented. Speaking of retailers, your latest post.
Ah, yes.
Who has the cheapest electricity plans for solar owners? Who has the cheapest electricity plans for solar owners?
Well, It's Origin and Amazing, which is, or however you pronounce it.
It's a mobile phone company.
Yeah, mobile phone company. They act as a middle person, and they buy and sell electricity, and apparently they do it on the cheap. And so, depends on which city you're in. Is there a graph? No. Okay.
Sorry.
So, I can't remember the details. I'm scared I'll get it wrong.
Read the blog post.
Read the blog post.
It's important.
In 3 out of the 5 capitals where there's retailer choice, Origin Energy has the cheapest plans. Watch out for Origin Energy. They will, on the comparison tools, they will have a really high feed-in tariff, but they won't give it to you. Not unless you buy a system from them.
And you probably don't want to buy a system from Origin, just saying.
Well, yeah, just saying. I personally, I would not buy a system from Origin. You might get lucky, who knows. But, so, they still, even with their not absolute highest feed-in tariff, do quite well. So it used to be AGL, used to be a better choice for solar homes than Origin, but now Origin has, this year, seemed to be
they kind of overtake
dominating. They take turns, I think.
Why is that?
Because, so AGL sops up some solar homes, gets them as customers. Then they say, oh, we're not going to compete with Origin, we're going to let them beat us this year, and we're just going to rely on people, on their inertia, on customer loyalty, not changing to Origin or another retailer who's cheaper, and we'll rake in some sweet profits from these people.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I'm with Amazing.
Oh.
On my 6.6 kilowatt Wineco Fronia system. I signed up with them, I think, 10 months ago.
Yep.
And I read your article.
Yeah.
And I went to our tool and I looked at the rates for Amasim, and I suddenly realized that in 10 months, Amasim's rates for my postcode are actually much better than the ones I signed up for. And they were good then.
Yes.
Feed-in tariff's gone from 20 cents to 22 cents.
Yep.
Usage rates have gone down substantially. I think it's about 20%.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of people selling batteries saying feed-in tariffs are going down, electricity prices are going up. With Amasim, sample size of 1, over the last 10 months, their usage rates have gone down, their daily charge has gone down by about 15 cents, and the feed-in tariff's gone up. So I was like, oh. So I rang them up. You timed me.
Yes.
I rang up Amasim and I said, hey, your rates are better than when I signed up 10 months ago.
Yeah.
I switched the plan and they said, yeah, no bother.
And it took all of 6 minutes. I was amazed. I can't even remember being put on hold for less than 6 minutes from calling one of the big companies.
But I think the lesson is, even if your electricity retailer is rated as being the cheapest, it's still worth every 12 months just checking what their rates are. Because if they've got better, I don't know of any retailer that's going to put you on the better rates. You've got to actually ask for it. But it's easy. It's easy. It's worth it. I mean, I reckon that's probably saving me at least $100 a year for 5 minutes work.
Yeah. So, 100, 5 minutes, divide. You're saving at least $200 an hour there.
That's a good hourly rate.
Yeah, good hourly rate.
Your maths is awesome.
Thank you. It's a gift.
So, yeah, that's that. It's definitely worth optimizing your retailer. It can actually make a big difference if you've got solar.
Yep.
Because some of the feed-in tariffs are terrible.
Yes, even if you don't have solar, it's worth it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Although you will find it's different retailers if you haven't got solar. Like Amasim are actually generally among the most expensive for people without solar. So,
yes. And be careful of tricks. If you have a larger than a 5 kilowatt solar inverter, you may not be eligible for some of these plans. And sometimes they'll say, oh, we'll give you a great rate, but if you export more than 5 kilowatt hours a day, this is for one of them, more than 5 kilowatt hours a day, we'll crank it down to a lower rate.
Yeah,
so,
thanks, guys.
Yeah,
watch out for the small print, all the usual advice.
Watch out for the big print.
Speaking of electricity retailers, I've got the worst review of the week.
Oh, who's it from?
It's from a very handsome gentleman called Finn Peacock, who is reviewing Diamond Energy, who is the electricity retailer for this office.
Really? Yeah. I've never seen him though. Did say he's very handsome.
So let me take you through my experience. So,
it's you!
Moved into this office about Christmas time. It was about 3 months fitting it out. While it was being fitted out, I switched to Diamond Energy. The builder used bugger all electricity, obviously. Well, not obviously, but he did. The first bill I got from them was for like $800 for the quarter. I was like, looked at what they charged me for, looked at what we'd used. I said, that's 10 times what we used.
Yeah.
They said, oh, it's estimated bill. I said, right, it's not a very good estimation to be fair.
Yes.
The problem was that it's really hard to read the meter. You've got to go through a glass door there, which needs a fob, and then you need a special key, which you can only get on a Monday and a Tuesday to get into the meter room.
Past the three-headed dog.
Yeah, past the three-headed dog. So we basically decided with Diamond Energy that it was just too hard to coordinate the meter reading. So I had a great idea.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, save you the bother. I'll take a picture every 3 months.
Ah, easy.
An electricity
Problem
meter.
solved.
And they said, nah, can't do that.
Oh.
I said, why not? I said, because that's the rules. I said, yeah, I get that, but why is that the rules? Because that's the rules. Now, this is where the steam comes out my ears. Like, you want to wind me up, be a bureaucrat and tell me the rules are the rules because they're the rules. Anyway, so I said, well, Origin Energy let me do it with my gas meter at home. They were like, well, we don't. It's the rules. So I was like, okay. And then they came up with a really good solution. They said, we'll give you a smart meter, which we can read remotely.
Oh.
I was like, how much is this going to cost me? I said, it'll be free.
Ah.
Free of charge.
Woo-hoo. Free of charge. Excellent.
Exact words they used in writing.
Yep. Excellent.
All right, cool.
Glad it's all clear then.
So eventually we got a smart meter installed.
Yep.
Beautiful, works like a dream.
Ah.
Got our latest electricity bill yesterday from Diamond Energy.
Yes.
And it was for like $800.
Oh.
Which I just know that's too much for this place for 3 months because we don't use that much electricity. So I looked at the bill and they'd charged me $250 for metering change.
Free of charge?
So I rang them up. No, I sent them an email. I said, hey, free of charge does not mean $250.
Yes.
And they said, oh, no, the meter was free, but the installation was $250. Or the isolation charge.
That's not what free of charge means.
So I sent a really grumpy email back and I said, I think any reasonable person would think that free of charge meant I didn't have to pay for the new meter. And to their credit, they came back and said, okay, we'll refund you the $250. So 2 stars, Diamond Energy.
2 stars, you're generous.
That's my review.
Okay. You did get your money back, so that's something.
That's something. But I had to fight for it. Right. Okay. Best review of the week. As chosen by Ned. Geelong Solar Energy. It's Steve at Geelong Solar Energy. Obviously in Geelong, we did our research regarding solar companies, panels and inverters. Most forums for pros and cons, so that our questions were more relevant. Did his research, good. Of 3 quotes, all Geelong businesses, all local businesses, through SolarQuotes I might add. Geelong Solar was the middle choice. So people don't always go for the cheapest. In fact, people quite often don't go for the cheapest. The variations only varied by a couple of $100, but Steve was very patient and well informed. Admittedly, we have purchased the Rolls Royce of systems, but you get what you pay for. For us, the LG 370 panels are outstanding, combined with a Fronius inverter. We have a 5 kilowatt system. I mean, personally, I don't know about your roof, but I always recommend 6.6 kilowatts of panels if you can fit them on. But anyway, I'm sure there's a reason. And on connection, the inverter indicated an immediate rating of 4.6 and 4.96 kilowatts. Impressive. Well, it is winter.
Yeah, if they've only got 5 kilowatts of panels, that's astounding. Maybe they have a 5 kilowatt inverter and more panels. I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, but very happy customer there with Geelong Solar Energy. Nice one, Steve. Oh, here's one. Here's a good one. So this is mental. Can I just read some?
Sure.
What's been promised?
Yeah.
So this is a company who is planning to build a. They say they're planning to build a 10 gigawatt solar farm.
That's huge.
A $20 billion project near Tennant Creek in Northern Territory that will also incorporate, you think that's big, a 20 to 30 gigawatt hour battery storage facility. For context for people, that's like a big nuclear power station's output for 24 hours.
Yep.
20 to 30 hours, that's enormous. Isn't that like the entire output of the Tesla gigafactory for a year or something? I'll have to look that up.
Ooh. South Australia will use about a gigawatt of power.
So it would keep South Australia going for 30 hours if it was a 30 gigawatt hour.
Yeah. Yep.
The project, which gained major project status last month, will export electricity to Singapore via a 3,750 kilometre undersea high voltage DC cable.
Ooh.
They're going to use this steel kind of concertina racking that they claim reduces the speed with which they can deploy a solar farm by 90%, well 50 to 90%. And then they plan to, this is brilliant, they plan to deliver all the gear from Adelaide and Darwin on the Garn, which is the big, obviously the train that goes between the two.
Yep.
So no, very few trucks involved. fewer trucks involved. That's awesome. They reckon they can deploy 10 gigawatts in about 2 years.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason why 10 gigawatts of solar can't be deployed in 2 years, provided the money is there. Is the money there?
I have no idea. You don't think it's going to happen?
Okay, 10 gigawatts of solar, this relies upon the undersea cable going from Northern Territory to Singapore, and presumably stopping at other places on the way. I don't know if they're going to go across or through the Irian de Jao, Papua, whatever. Anyway, it's really expensive to put that cable in.
Would have thought so.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen until someone puts the money down for that cable. So yes, they can build a farm, a small one, solar farm to feed power to Darwin, etc. But yeah,
that's a lot of solar to use.
On a gigawatt scale, you're going to have that cable built.
How many gigawatts of solar are deployed in Australia already?
7.2 residentially and about 11 total, maybe 12 now.
Right, so they're almost doubling the installed solar capacity.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
So you'd need to export that to somewhere.
Yeah,
you would have thought.
There's not even a plan to connect the Northern Territory to the rest of Australia, unless they're going to put one cable to Singapore, another one maybe back down to Western Australia. Or something.
Good point. Yeah, so it's not connected to the NEM.
No.
Unless they build a big cable.
Yes.
Another big cable. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Solar-powered drone manufacturer establishes presence in Brisbane. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, because this is the wave of the future. This is a robot plane. You toss it in the air. It flies. You can control it with your Xbox controller if you want, or something similar. Or it just autonomously flies back and forth, maps out your big, huge cattle or sheep property, whatever it is, and you can see where your moo-moos are. You can see any problems. You can see the packs of feral dingoes. Or
it saves you flying a light aircraft.
Yeah, it saves you flying a light aircraft. My uncle died in a light aircraft crash. He wasn't doing this, but it's dangerous work.
Yeah.
So save lives, save fuel, save money. I mean, this isn't cheap. It's like the Rolls Royce.
40,000 Aussie dollars, I think.
Yeah, something like that, of drones. But it costs a lot to develop. So they want their early adopter money.
Yeah, nice application of solar.
Yeah, very nice. And they're going to be making robots and so on for agricultural uses. They are making them at the moment. Oh, you've switched the picture. We have to stop what we're talking. Tell us about this.
Back to Victoria. The fiasco continues. I just thought I'd highlight what's going on. This is a tweet from Solar Victoria's Twitter account, basically saying, our CEO, Stan Kripan, spoke at something about the successes and challenges of the Solar Homes program and how we work towards providing 770,000 homes with #solar. This will help Victorians take control of their energy bills and fight #climate change. And there's a quote from Stan Kripan that heads up Solar Victoria. We've had more than 32,000 applications received for this program to date. Demand management is keeping me up at night. It's just, I mean, is that a tone-deaf tweet, or is that a tone-deaf tweet when you've got solar installers laying people off, people losing their homes, people losing their businesses, people calling beyond blue, people at their absolute wit's end, all because of this Solar Victoria-driven scheme?
Completely unnecessary. Government scheme meant to help the industry, destroying large parts of it.
If I was leading or working for Solar Victoria or in the Victorian government responsible for this scheme, it wouldn't be demand management that's keeping me up at night. It'd be the human tragedy that's unfolding, which is
people losing their jobs.
The Victorian solar industry was going great before you guys got involved. Now you're trying to spin that it somehow got better when it's got objectively worse.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Jeez, it's frustrating.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
So the crisis continues in Victoria. The government aren't budging. Very, very disappointing. We'll see what happens when, at least they've announced that they've clarified that it won't be opening on Sunday, September the 1st. The lottery will begin again on Monday, September the 2nd.
Well, that's something.
See how that goes.
Let's see if they've secretly improved it somehow. I really doubt it. Still crossing my fingers. Hope springs eternal, but probably not for much longer.
Okay, last story of the week. This isn't from the SolarQuotes blog. This is from rechargenews.com.
Yep.
This is interesting. Walmart Well, they're the biggest company in the world, one of them.
Oh, they're huge, multi-billion-dollar companies.
Sues negligent Tesla over rooftop solar fires.
Oops.
So I think there's 248 very big solar systems Tesla installed for Walmart on some kind of PPA style deal.
Yes, power purchase agreement, so it's like leasing.
Yeah, so Tesla have a financial interest in the systems operating well.
Yes.
They're all switched off at the moment because there were 4 fires. And there's this massive bust up between Walmart and Tesla.
Yes.
Over reactivating the systems. I'll put a link in the notes to a 17-page lawyer's letter from Tesla's lawyers to Walmart's lawyers, basically claiming that Walmart are being totally inflexible and obstructionist and all this stuff. It's very interesting reading, actually. If you're into this kind of stuff, have a read. One thing that I thought was kind of amusing was the Tesla lawyers refer to the rooftop fires as thermal events.
Yes. Yes, thermal events that, caused all these brightly coloured, spontaneous reduction of substances on the roof. Yes.
It's just turned into an absolute shit fight between the two. So one of the interesting fair points that Tesla's lawyers said, I think, was that Walmart wanted some kind of written guarantee that there would never be another fire on a Tesla solar system. You can't guarantee that. Like, solar's safe, but nothing's guaranteed except death and taxes.
But you can put your money where your mouth is and say, if there is another fire, we'll give you free power from these systems for a year. I
mean, my reading of it all was Walmart are understandably spooked.
Yep.
Like, solar's a fairly new thing. There was this, very proud of these solar systems, and then they have these 4 fires, and there's this big fight about how to switch them on, and for Walmart to be happy that they're safe. And Tesla are losing, I think they said $34,000 a day while they're switched off.
Yep.
Because they're obviously
and Tesla is still desperate for money.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money. Walmart have obviously got deep pockets. It will be really interesting to see where this goes. Yeah. Terribly sad that a client-vendor relationship can get to this, though. I mean, I love the Tesla battery. If you want a battery and you're not worried about the payback. I've ordered a Tesla car. The cars look awesome. We'll find out if they are soon enough.
Yeah, just film the entire surface of that car when it comes in. Just make sure it's all intact.
When I ordered it, the website promised I'd have it in August.
Oh, so it's going to arrive any time then.
It's not even close to arriving, I don't think. Tesla, it's interesting. I think I've got 4 phone calls off them. The first phone call, to be fair, said expect it in September, not what the website promised. Why doesn't the website promise what you promised?
Yes. I've noticed this problem with Tesla before.
One phone call was to say you can't have the interior colour you ordered because we've discontinued that. I was like, okay, I get it, rationalising the product lines. And the other 2 were basically to say, we think it's on a ship, but we're not sure because the system's down that tells us this stuff.
These are people who want to put autonomous driving systems in vehicles.
So that was interesting. That's it. Anything else you want to add?
I was going to talk about robot farming, but it's too late now. So let's talk about, I'll save it for next week. And because your complaint was yours, I didn't get to read it out in my Joker voice like I promised all my fans.
Next week.
No, we can't. Okay, we'll see. I'll read out something in my Joker voice. Something.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.